This is the first in a series of videos I'm going to be making on creating a real-world serverless application called Snappy Features. I'm doing this because there are lots of Hello World examples on YouTube, but nobody's really teaching anybody how to build a complete application. Throughout this series, you're going to see all my design decisions and watch me build the complete application. In this episode, I'm going to focus on getting SAM up and running. So SAM is the Serverless Application Model from AWS, and it makes it easy to deploy serverless applications. Normally, I would use the serverless framework for this, but I want to learn SAM, and this seems like a pretty good project to learn it on. I'm going to start by creating a deployment bucket using the AWS S3 command, and MB for make bucket, and then the S3 URL for the deployment bucket, which I'm going to call Snappy Features deploy, and I'm going to set the region to US West 2 because I want to deploy everything over into Oregon, and I also need to give it the profile that I'm going to use, which is in my AWS credentials file. I've already set that up, and it's called Snappy Features. Now my deployment bucket's set up, I'm going to create a folder called Backend, which is where I'll put all the code that I'm going to use on the server side. And I'm going to create a new SAM project, and I will be using the SAM init command for that with the runtime Node.js 8.10, and I'm going to name the project GraphQL. I'm going to use this project a little bit later when I actually set up our GraphQL API using AppSync. For now, it doesn't really matter what it's called, it's just here so that I have a project that I can deploy as an application in my stack. Okay, having done that, let's go back to VS Code, and we can see that it's created my backend folder and the serverless project has been created, the SAM project has been created. I have a template file which was generated for me. It adds a hello world function. You can see the hello world functions code in here with all the tests and everything else. I'm not going to worry too much about that for now. In order to deploy this as a nested application, what I'm going to do is create a template.yaml file in the root of my backend actually. So I'll just move that into there. And in this template.yaml, I'm going to, actually I'll just copy and paste this from my other template. I'm going to copy these couple of lines here, which are needed to tell SAM that it's a SAM template. The first line is the format version for the CloudFormation file. The transform is what really makes this a SAM file. So I'm going to call this one Snappy Features, and I need to add a resources section to it. And in the resources section, I'm going to add one resource called GraphQL API with a type AWS Serverless Application. In the properties, I'm going to set the location for the file to the template.yaml file inside the GraphQL folder. So what I've created now is a nested application. So all I need to do is deploy the root template.yaml file in the backend folder, and it will deploy the GraphQL project as well. This will be useful later on when I'm trying to deploy multiple parts to the backend. I need to deploy the one project and it will deploy everything for me. So let's go back to our command line, and I can use the SAM command to package it up. So SAM package template, and my template file is template.yaml. The output template file I'm going to call CloudFormation.yaml. The S3 bucket is the bucket I created earlier. So the bucket name is SnappyFeatures deploy. I also need to tell it the region that I'm deploying to. So I'm using US West 2, and the profile that I'm using, which is SnappyFeatures. This will take a moment while it uploads the file. Now you can check that it's uploaded everything correctly by looking at the CloudFormation.yaml, and in the location you should now see an S3 URL. Now that that's deployed, I can use the SAM deploy command, the template file, and this time I'm going to use the output file, so the CloudFormation.yaml. I'm going to set the stack name to be SnappyFeatures. I'm going to set the capabilities to capability IAM, and because I'm using nested stacks, I also need to set capability auto expand. I need to set the region to US West 2, and the profile will need to be SnappyFeatures. This will just take a couple of minutes while it creates the CloudFormation stack, and so if I go over to my CloudFormation in the console, you can see that I have two stacks. I have the SnappyFeatures stack and the SnappyFeatures GraphQL API. In the S3 console, you can see I have the SnappyFeatures deployment bucket. I don't want to be typing out these commands every time I do a deployment, so I'm going to use npm init to create a package.json, and I'm going to call this one SnappyFeatures. I'll just leave everything else as default for now. Yes, that's okay. I'm then going to copy the commands that I used. So my first command was the package command, and into my package.json in the scripts, I'm going to create a couple of new scripts. So the first one I'm going to create is a SAM package script, and I'll just paste my command into there. And I'm then going to create a SAM deploy script, and into that I'm going to copy my deploy command. This is now going to allow me to do my packaging and deploying without needing to type out the entire command. I'll simply be able to do a npm run script SAM package to package it, and when I'm ready to do a deploy, I can do npm run script SAM deploy. In the next video, I'm going to talk about setting up Cognito user pools. So if you like this, hit the subscribe button, press the bell so that you get notified when new videos get released, or go to www.goingserverless.com and sign up for the mailing list.